All right, folks, it's time for an XRP market update. It's Monday, June 9th, 2025, and it's going to be a busy week. Bitcoin back above 107,000, XRP reclaiming $2.25, preparing us for that next wave higher. Let's get you locked in and started off this week by taking a look at the markets to begin. 107.7 for Bitcoin, back up to 108 this morning. We'll see if that green candle can continue higher. That's a nice one coming in today. XRP consolidating right now at 225 after popping up just shy of 230 yesterday. But we already set you guys up, right, with where this market was heading. We already hit that purple box, came on back down to 206. That got eaten up. Everybody bought that dip, and we moved it back on up here above 220 over the weekend. Big momentum coming in for XRP, and we got two vertical lines right here. Why? Well, June 11th, that's going to be your full moon and your CPI lie. So we get further inflation data, giving more ammunition for the Fed to cut rates. And we're going to get that full moon energy, which lately has been very bullish for XRP. I'll show you real quick here. I'm not telling you to believe in the moons or stars or give you financial advice, but we've seen a correlation here. Full moons are the gray circles, new moons are the blue. So we've been watching it. We get pumping, we get moving back up into the full moon. And then we're also watching June 17th is going to be that next Fed meeting and the interest rate decision. So we're expecting the market to move back higher all throughout the next week and a half or so. We also have President Trump's birthday on June 14th. Couple other key events and dates right around here. So we're going to be watching it moving back up. We got our targets set. They were hit. Our order was filled. I went long XRP. Quick update on that one. I bought right here 211, basically the bottom of where the futures went on down to. Futures only went on down to about 209. I got in at 211, and you see what's happening right here. We're in profit on that one. Love to see it. Now, speaking of profit, how about our silver? Waking up and going on a run here, $36.81, pushing towards $40. We are in no man's land right now for silver, closing days above $36 per ounce, massively bullish. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Looks like it's finally here. Like I said, it's no man's land between here and $50 per ounce. Are the manipulators going to try to keep us back down? Are they going to be able, are they even going to be able to, is the question at this point, right? They were only able to suppress gold for so long before it just ran away. Now our precious metal over here, silver, catching up and doing the same thing. While we're speaking on it, I'm going to plug it up down below. Look at our precious metals tab on our website or linked up down below and get in touch with our good friend Andy Scheckman and Miles Franklin, one of the best to do it in the precious metals business for getting you the best prices, best services delivered to your door. We'll get you taken care of, and it's a way to support the cause. So thank you very much, and take advantage of that along with all of our other community resources down below. This week, Atlanta Fed GDP Now data coming out today. That's probably already been released. I'll check back on that one. CPI lies coming out on Wednesday, along with a big 10-year note auction. How well is our Treasury going to be able to sell off a 10-year promise? We'll find out on Wednesday. Thursday, the producer price index, that's the producer wholesale inflation data. And then we get Michigan inflation expectations and consumer sentiment on Friday. This marks the last week of inflation data before the June Fed meeting. The unemployment numbers, the jobs report that came out last week was not very particularly strong. Couple headline numbers that read off okay, but you dig in. As always, you dig in and the devil's in the details. And so the bad unemployment, the bad jobs report last week, combined with inflation, which will still be hot coming in this week, is going to give the Fed more ammunition to cut rates. Is it going to be coming on June 17th? We'll wait and see, but I believe that the market will be moving higher in anticipation of a Fed rate cut, so be prepared for that one. Now, we get the text of the Clarity Act, and we get a little bit further along here towards getting a market structure bill. This is now going to include clarity for non-custodial devs on the question of unlicensed money transmission. Codifies the 2019 FinCEN guidance as well. So looks like we're going to get a vote on stablecoin legislation this week, which is separate from this Clarity Act. But then the Clarity Act is that bigger market structure bill, and we're hoping that we can get that to the president's desk by August. It's time to lock in, though, because this is the U.S. market unlock. Money managers and financial advisors across the country can now tell their clients to invest in crypto without worried about losing their jobs. It's game on. In the SEC, just waiting to approve those spot XRP ETFs, and that's when we're going to start to see massive inflows. Some of my most recent updates, I've been talking about the inflows, just 17 million of inflows, which pushed up XRP's market cap by $6.7 billion yesterday. That's a multiplier of 380x. And so when we look at these spot ETFs that are coming right around the corner, and we're getting conservative predictions from JP Morgan of 4 to 8 billion of inflows, these market cap bros, their heads are going to explode when XRP reaches 500 billion, $1 trillion market cap and more. That's just going to be getting the party started. And Max Keiser is deathly scared of it. What is a silent killer that people don't realize is slowly killing them? Well, Max Keiser's answer to that, XRP. My portfolio would have to disagree, as we are up over 300% since the election. After a full swing of 600%, Bitcoin's only been able to squeeze out 60% since the election. So although Bitcoin's not dying, definitely not going away anytime soon, but it is lagging drastically behind XRP and many other digital assets for that matter. But we're here for the entire industry. We're about to get market structure. We're about to get stablecoin legislation. We want to come together and end the tribalism. But it's the likes of Max Keiser and other Bitcoin maxis that want to continue playing this game. And it just hurts everybody, right? It's a terrible look for the Bitcoin community, and it's a terrible look for our entire industry. Let's stop it, right? And you don't even want to you don't want to go there, okay? Because if you do, we'll remind you of the facts. And the facts are, since we've entered this new reality of President Trump being in charge, XRP is destroying the gains of Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum combined. So you guys can all get together in the VC pump gang and the Ethereum gate, all of that, the Bitcoin bros. You guys all get together, and all of your gains combined, still, we are multiples ahead of you in XRP. So you don't want to go there, but if you do, we'll remind you of the facts, okay? Why don't we just come together and we move our entire industry forward? How about that one? I don't know. You guys take it up with Max Keiser. We're trying to end the tribalism. These guys can't help it. But the problem is they can't stop the inevitable, which is the NASDAQ filed with the SEC confirming its proposal to expand its crypto benchmark index from 5 to 9 crypto assets, adding XRP, Solana, Cardano, I know it's Cardano, Cardano, and Stella, all being added to the crypto index. As much as they want to cry and whine, there is no stopping the inevitable. XRP is here, and it's here to stay. Now, this brings me to my final point of today's episode, and guys, I'm going to try not to get too triggered, but this is really upsetting me. Okay, XRP DeFi season is here. This is so great. We're locking up XRP. We're burning XRP. We're getting activity on the XRP ledger, and all of it drives more demand for XRP and pushes that number higher. Fantastic. But people are so anxious to get yield or return on their XRP that they're rolling their XRP into all of these centralized DeFi offerings, these DeFi offerings. Don't get me started on some of these meme coins. And even the suits are now showing up to take your XRP as well too. And I just ask, before you give up your XRP, conduct some due diligence before you give it up. Who are they? How long have they been in business? How are they going to generate the yield? Is that yield going to be sustainable? Is this going to be a company that can provide you yield for years to come? Or have you just invested in a Ponzi scheme? You really need to be conducting some serious due diligence before you give up your XRP. And I also want to ask you the question, why are you trying to earn 3 to 5% on your XRP when we just pumped 3 and 500%? And we're about to do another 3 and 500%, maybe a 10x. Some people want to talk about XRP going a lot further. So why are you trying to earn 4% on an asset that's about to do 400%? Why? If you can't tell, I'm really bothered right now by everybody who's showing up. I put out the tweet a few days ago. Everybody and their brother is showing up to take your XRP. Before you give it up, ask yourself why, who, and how is that yield going to be generated? And if they can't answer it in one simple sentence, run the other way. One sentence, they should be able to answer it. It should not be complex. It's not going to be anything crazy. Most of these guys are putting your money in T-bills. They're giving you 3% and they pocket the difference while they make 4% on the T-bill. And they say, oh, we got yield for you. Keep it. Keep your 4%. I would say shove it up your... I want to keep it nice today, but it really ticks me off. Everybody and their brother's coming for your XRP. I'm not going to give you financial advice, but don't give it to them. Stop. We don't need 4% on an asset that's going to do 400%. Here's the most recent rug pull. You want to see how this goes? This is not going to be this is not the first, and it's not going to be the last. Mark my words. Mark my words. This breaks my heart. Daniel from Casino Coin calling it out, and I got to give credit because Daniel does call out this crap. Another day, another rug. Munacy, a website service that claimed to generate massive yields by locking up tokens, went completely dark, taking millions of dollars in user funds with it. Munacy was promoted by influencers, as always, one of them being Crypto Sensei, who told his followers he is earning 500 XRP a day. Since the service was rugged, he deleted all his promotional tweets and didn't comment on the matter. For your own safety, don't follow or listen to people promoting things with super high yields with services. Don't lock up your tokens. There are several exchanges in the top 10 offering staking. If you think you could afford to lose what you put in, pick one of these over everything else, but even this is dangerous. And like I said, why are you trying to earn 4 or 5% on your XRP when it's about to go do 400 or 500%? Stop playing around. Stop. Now, I don't know about Crypto Sensei. I've heard of him. All it takes is a little check and these guys will shill whatever the hell. It is what it is. You need to conduct your due diligence. You need to know who you're investing with, how the yield's being generated, and what's their track record. How long have they been around? Because there's a lot of new kids on the block and they're ready to take your XRP. They have a story about how they're going to generate some yield, usually speaking in generalities about they're going to apply sophisticated trading strategies with their quant operators. Who are their quant operators? We don't know. But just trust us, bro. Please, guys, before you give up your XRP to any of this, whether it be the AMM, whether it be a meme coin, whether it be the suits showing up, please, whether it be an exchange, for crying out loud. This is why I like Caleb and Brown. They put us in institutional grade custody. Do I put all of my XRP on Caleb and Brown? God, no. I don't need to because most of my XRP I'm holding forever. But the little bit of crypto that I am going to trade, I keep on some of these platforms. Caleb and Brown has the best service, institutional grade custody. Nobody else is doing that for people with less than $1 million in crypto. It's unmatched service, plain and simple. I like Uphold still. I still use them. I don't like Coinbase. I still use them. Only place that I can trade futures right now. So I use platforms that I don't even like, but I don't put much money on there, right? So please, you got to understand who we're trusting. And even when we trust them, we need to verify in this space. So stay tuned. I'm going to be putting out due diligence checklists for XRP DeFi. You'll be able to apply it to other DeFi as well too. But before we give up the keys to the castle, we're going to run these programs through our due diligence checklist before anybody gets our XRP. Stay safe out there. Stay tuned. It's going to be a big week. We're moving back up. Much more content on the way. So let's subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And on the way out, if you appreciate what we're doing over here, you know how to help us out. See you in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.